Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Drink About It. We are here getting to know industry professionals, sipping on some spirits, and having some laughs. Tonight we are joined by Amelia Kinney. Amelia is one of the founders of Slow Burn, but Amelia has always been fermenting, and her love for beer goes as far as to carry a crate of beer across a camping trip through Bornholm, as well as all the crushed ice to keep them cold.
I forgot about that. Shit.
known as Mama Kinney, to her friends, with always being the one to come and take care of you. And you can catch her at Slow Burn slinging some tasty brews. Welcome to the show, Amelia.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Of course. Very excited about this.
Yeah, this is super cozy. Yeah, very happy to be here.
But yeah, you really did drag a bunch of beers across Bornholm.
I did. Yeah.
Very nice.
I couldn't imagine like a camping trip without good beer. It was yeah.
Yeah, because then you're just sitting in the woods, right?
I think now I'm recalling it. It was it was because we had gone to Pennyland and Beer here, and they had brought us a bunch of beer, and we were down on I think in Gudhjem Harbor, and we were having lunch, and then we were carrying on, and we had all this beer, and I didn't want to waste it, and then I wanted to be able to drink it because otherwise I was just hauling around a bunch of like glass bottles full of beer. But I think I found a fisherman on the harbor and a styrofoam box, and then I packed like on the back, and we already had like a ton of equipment. We had like tents and everything, and we had to go up this super steep hill, and everybody was just shaking their heads, and it's just it was very typical me. But we did have nice cold beers for that camp night.
Yeah, they probably weren't complaining later, right?
Nope.
That's rad. But before we really kick into it, just a little bit of ground rules. So you do have, speaking of beer, you do have a beer.
I do. I
so
also have this cute little bottle opener. He's a pirate.
That's cute. Oh, I like that. That's cool.
It's really bad though. It doesn't really work very well, but it'll do.
Yeah. There you go. It works fine.
Yep.
But yeah, you have your beer, so feel free to drink that throughout the shots. Some of these shots, they're not super high APVs, but they are getting there. But then shot question, 6 shots, 6 questions, and then we finish it up with a little bit of a game. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Oh. All right.
Nice.
Do you dare to test the first one?
Yes. And now maybe your previous guests were pretty pro on spirits, and I'm not. I'm a beer and wine gal, so I would love to hear some stuff about what we're drinking.
Oh well, this is some. Well, I'll tell you in a second. We can drink it first. Cheers. Yeah, a little light Jamaican rum for you.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, right?
Great.
Lots of flavor.
Yes. So much wood.
Yeah, I think this one's aged for 8 years. So it has a pretty heavy wood impact.
Quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said in my intro, you've always been fermenting, right? Like you've been in like the home brewing fermenting process for a really long time. You even have maybe you still have a kombucha company, correct?
Yeah, I mean I started with fermentation after like a really long trip to the States for 6 months, where I was traveling around like hitchhiking and couch surfing, and I ended up in California with all these hippies in Santa Cruz and San Francisco, and just like really got to know like a lot of people doing sauerkraut and brewing and baking bread. And I lived in this collective house that was just super like rad, and they were doing a lot of fermentations, and I started to just learn from it from a flavor point of view, and thought it was really interesting. And I was helping out at a farmer's market where we were selling sauerkraut. And my mom's a chef, but she's like very classically educated in the French like cuisine. But when I came back with all these ideas and all this, like I tasted kombucha for the first time. It was really big over there. I had never heard about it before. My mom has baked sourdough bread for many years, but then I came home with all this new like knowledge and energy. And then I got a kombucha mother from a friend who brought it back from India, I think. And
oh wow, that's
yeah,
a long way for it to travel.
yeah. And then I started brewing for my collective that I was living in Valby, and started experimenting with the flavors and herbs and chili and ginger and all this stuff. And just basically it was just my roommates drinking it. But my mom got really into it as well.
Yeah.
We were experimenting together, and then she has a canteen in Islandsbrygge where she cooks lunch in the daytime.
Right.
And so basically there was a full equipped kitchen, approved and everything, like ready
Oh, that's
after
so nice.
3 in the afternoon. And so we just started brewing, also with my best friend Balder, who lives on Bornholm now. Actually, one of the guys that was on the bike trip with the famous beer box on the back. And yeah, and then we decided to try to see if we could just make a small company, like startup. I mean, very homebrew style, like, you know, 20, 30 liter buckets, and trying to grow a SCOBY that's like big enough and make it healthy and see if it would like be good. And it was really nice. And we brewed like, you know, just in Cornelius kegs and hand bottling and selling it just only to kiosk where I was working at that time. But it was really great to like get to know like how to start a company and Fødevarestyrelsen, like the health code and all these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, I mean, from there I went to beer. I mean, I was homebrewing the kombucha, and then I started to get together like a homebrew kit, also to brew beer for my roommates. And I just love the science. Like I don't have a scientific background, but I love this. Like, you want to do something, learn all the stuff to know what you're doing properly. I mean, so study on my own kind of thing, and get all these crazy books and try to read all the science and understand it, and ask questions and be curious.
Absolutely. Trying to read like every article ever, right?
Yeah. And getting these homebrew books as presents, and having some friends help me get started, and like actually some people out from the old fermentation boat that was in front of the fermentation lab in front of Noma.
Yeah.
There was a really rad girl there that was doing some crazy stuff, and she came out and helped me, and we went around and picked hops locally, and it was just a great time really to get started on all this. It was the blue-eyed some great years.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. But that, I mean, that is super exciting, and it's nice that it was such a collective effort, right? Like it, you know, it wasn't just you and you just learned all this stuff, but you know, you had people give you books, or you had help from one of the people fermenting in front of Noma.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. Yeah,
super inspiring. And I had friends, you know, I was interested in beer, like the drinking of beer, you know, I was going to try craft beer around, and like got, you know, to be excited about hops and IPAs and stuff like that, and then really wanting to learn the processes. So it's like everything is always based on flavor when it comes to me, and making these things, and having a good experience and eating and drinking great things. But then there's the whole science and the processes that are just like really, really interesting when it comes to fermentation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just from, I mean, I don't ferment a lot, but you know, you make tepache every now and then.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. But I mean, the first few times that you make it, you don't really know what's happening until your boss, Blondie, asks you like, so why does it taste like this? And you look at him, you're like, because it does.
No.
And then and he doesn't accept that answer.
Yeah, exactly. And I met my boyfriend Stefano that I have the brewery with right around when I made the kombucha company, and he's a biotechnologist. So it was like the perfect timing that I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do it for a while before I met him. But then I had this wealth of knowledge that I could just like ask, you know, when something went wrong and I didn't know why. And kombucha is extremely wild and uncontrolled. Like he was very frustrated with it because he knows everything about beer and there's so much science in that. And kombucha is like, play some music for it. And like it's very hippy dippy kind of, there's not a lot of science written about it and conducted.
But apparently playing music for plants, or like playing music for like fermentations, that's supposed to be like, that's an actual thing though, isn't it?
People do it.
People do it.
I wouldn't say that I believe in it, or that like, I mean, it's great and do whatever you want, you know, for your wine plants and fermentation vessels and stuff. It's all nice and good, but I don't think that it's necessarily like doing anything for the fermentation. But who knows? There's more to everything that we probably know. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember seeing it one time on TV. I forget what that show's called, where they like break Mythbusters. That's what it's called.
Okay.
where they like take like urban legends and they see if they're true or not. But one of them was if you played classical music to plants, then the plant would grow faster. And like, they just tested on like ferns, like just some house plant.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, like,
all right, I'll check it up. I'll check it
yeah,
out.
yeah. Should be cool.
Yeah.
All right. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a lot of creamed potatoes right before this, so I'm like nice and nice and cushioned in. Are we doing the second now?
Yes.
Okay. A clear one.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's go.
Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mezcal or tequila?
Tequila. Cimarron tequila.
What did you say?
Cimarron tequila.
Cimarron.
Yeah,
Okay.
it comes in like this big liter bottle. It's super nice.
That's very nice. I don't drink a lot of good tequila. Like I love mezcal and I got into that, but I haven't had a lot of like high quality. Just the one with the red hat.
Yeah, that one unfortunately isn't the best.
Nice.
Although I guess the hat is kind of cool, but like the whatever's in the bottle is not that nice. But actually, speaking of the companies that you worked for, you're also working for like an initiative right now, right? With Glow. You were talking about it a little bit on. I watched the talk on the 8th.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about Glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could expand on it a little bit for us.
Yeah, sure. So I don't work for Glow. Like Glow is just maybe like basically an initiative, like a group where we try to do. It stands for Global Ladies of Wort. Wort is the liquid that we ferment to make beer. So it's basically a group or like organization for women in beer. And it started here in Copenhagen by Mariana, who's the brewer at Amalie Bryghus.
Yeah.
Like maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. And it was a way to just like bring together all the women that she knew and maybe women that she wasn't aware of and stuff, both in Denmark, but also in the rest of Europe and now globally. To just bring awareness about women being like a minority in this business and support whatever causes we have to, like have better, I have to find my English.
Oh, properly. No, you're fine.
But yeah, to support women in beer and get more women to enter this business and know that they can do everything from brewing to sales to owning a brewery like me, and just show that that we are few, but we are strong and able, and just inspire that way and make a community. So it started out as like it was I think I mentioned that on the talk that it started out being like this collaboration tap takeover, where all the breweries that she had connected with would send, like, that people came from like UK and Germany and everywhere down to this bar in Copenhagen, and we all brought a keg from the brewery that we were working for, and then we were basically talking, sharing stories and getting to know each other. And then there was a lot of women who came down and was interested in asking questions and getting to know us that wasn't already in the industry. So it's like a way to like kind of
that's nice. It's like an entry point.
And then we did a lot of collaborations, or some collaborations with breweries in Sweden and in Denmark that got released. And then it's like, when we release it, we try to bring women together to, have a party and show that we're here and
celebrate a little,
and then create awareness basically. And
but
so that's really cool.
That's really nice. I mean, because there really aren't enough women in the industry, and I assume the same clearly is the same like for the brewing side of it all. But your point on like there's so many different ways to go in the industry, I think that's a really big one, because so many people are like that I talk to, especially from like back home, they're like, oh, I'm a bartender, and they're like, well, how long can you do that for? It's like, well,
it's a career. Like,
some people can do it for a really long time. Look at Kirsten Holm from K-Bar. She's still crushing shifts and stuff like this. But I mean, just like you said, there's sales, there's owning a brewery. Like, there's so many different facets to the service industry. Definitely. And to be able to explore it is really, really fun. But I do think that maybe stops a few people from getting into it really, because they feel like it's just bartending.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I started with bartending, and I was like in a beer bar, and for some periods of those 5 years, I was the only female employee, and that's not because my employer didn't want to employ women. There was just not a lot of people with the right experience. He was very keen on like teaching and everything, but we even had one that came in for her first shift and experienced sexual harassment from a customer, and then quit the same day. It was like, I can't do this.
I mean, if
Maybe
it's
it
her
was
first
handled
time,
the wrong way, you know, whatever. It was just like so devastating, like, oh, damn it. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I've experienced a ton of sexual harassment, but it was definitely just like a bit lonely, I guess. Or if something did happen, my male colleagues were really nice and supportive, but they didn't really get it in a way, or like, yeah, it was just first when I found Glow. I had been working also in distribution of beer in sales, and never ever had a female employee in that world either. So it was like when I connected with this group was the first time that I really got to talk about these things, and talk about being a salesperson and being a cute little girl or woman or whatever you call it, and then getting told that you would only be so good at your job because you were cute, and people want like, and you were smiling and you were charming and whatever. And I am like that. I'm very open and like expressive and warm and stuff, and that's just like, that's who I am. It's not about like my gender. And so yeah, that was hard in the beginning. You know, it's very different now. I established myself. I have my own business. I've worked in this industry for many years. I don't feel like an outsider or that I have to prove anything anymore. But I just look back at that time and thought, wow, if I had Glow back then, it would have made a big difference. So I hope that we can do something to make people feel more welcomed and heard. And yeah.
I'm sure you already have in a lot of ways, though, even just by establishing the platform and doing a few collaborations or just talking about it, really, that at least lets people know that it's there, and that there is some sort of support system that they can either go to and rely on, or maybe look to for inspiration, you know, things like this. Like,
and it's very unorganized right now, also because of Corona. Like the stuff that we did, really, we couldn't really follow up the way that we wanted to, because we wanted to be a physical place. Now we did the collab, like global online collab, basically on the 8th with 30 breweries. Where we were just like sharing on Instagram what we were doing, and
that was really cool.
Yeah, and the base of the recipe was the same. So like same malts, same percentage of like barley, wheat, oats, and then the same hops from the Pink Boots Society blend that I mentioned. It's like this other organization for women in beer, mainly focusing on the education of women in brewing, that made this like very special, awesome hop blend with a hop grower. And then that got released, and all the breweries bought it to brew this specific beer, or like to brew whatever beer they wanted with it. Then all the money would go towards scholarships for women in beer. So that's a really cool way that we support that as well. And so that was really great, but it's still like Glow is a DIY group, you know. It's very open and like non-conformed yet, or like it's not really structured that well yet, but I hope that we can do more about it. And yeah,
I'm sure you can, especially like during these COVID times right now. I mean, this is when people are getting really creative. Like I mean, the thing that you just were just talking about, where they were sharing the like on International Women's Day, when they were like sharing all the pictures of beer, that's like a triple collaboration right there. I mean, so if you can continue to do stuff like this, I mean, that's really creative, where you've got to, you know, someone to make a special blend of hops, and you've got all the brewers to get this thing, and then they can just brew their whatever beer they feel like.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. It was also really fun flipping through those stories and like looking through all those Instagrams. Yeah, it was.
You know, it's like the Finnish ladies, like in the morning, like going into the ice water, like in the sea before the brew day, and I was like, yeah, cool. Just I mean, that makes
so
it
nuts,
really show the different brewers in their habitat or whatever, like in their frame and their brew houses and how they work. I love the first collab that we did with Glow, where I don't remember how many we were, 15 or 20. Also internationally, that came to Amalie to brew a beer together. That was a whole different way, you know. of course, then we weren't brewing, all of us. It was mainly Mariana that was brewing, and we were talking and hanging out. But this way we really got to see everybody's different. Some were filling barrels, you know, for sour beers, and some were doing dark beers, and yeah, it was really cool.
That's cool. You also get to see how other people work, and then that can always either give you inspiration, you know, like to, oh, this is a really cool technique that they're using, you know?
Yeah.
That's always really nice.
Yeah, there's some positive sides to this online stuff, definitely. I felt very connected to just see so many women in freaking boots and overalls and with wrenches, and just like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Like, look at all these badass ladies.
That's also the thing, like, to, you know, watching all these stories, like you really get a sense of how many brewers are out there. And like, granted, this is still a very small amounts, because it's like, this specifically was just the women that were on this feed. Yeah. But still, it was really like, there was so many different breweries out there that they were at, you know.
Yes, I got very like positively, like I had a very positive feeling about it. And also because like, then maybe some of the women, like for example at Brugs, it was Mar that is the one of the brewers, or like assistant brewers at Toril City. She brewed the beer, and then the other women helped out that maybe came from the office in sales and whatever. Yeah. But they still like put on their work clothes and brewed it together. And I'm not the brewer either, but I did the mashing, I added hops, I decided the beer, like the recipe, the style with Stefano, and so to be included in the beer, even though maybe you're not like professionally like on the production side.
Yeah. But still, yeah, exactly. I mean, just getting people involved, and just like you're saying, even if you do work in the office or something like this, you can go put on some work clothes and contribute a little bit, you know, even if you're just pushing around a stool or something. I don't know.
Especially for the visibility, you know, for that day, it was just great to get them out all in the front, you know, and see their faces, and that they're a real part of their projects.
Absolutely. And then also for us, like this maybe applies more to like the foreign crowd, but like for me, I also then get to see all these different types of breweries. And so whenever you go to order beer for your bar or for your liquor store or whatever, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, okay, let's try this one. Let's try this one. Now you can try like almost a new one every day. There was so many breweries like in Denmark. It's really cool.
It's it's really cool.
It's just, it's super exciting how many like this probably happened back home as well. I just wasn't as connected or like in the industry, or I just didn't pay attention to it really. But I just feel like there's so many people creating here in Denmark. There's a lot of different distilleries. There's a ton of breweries, and it's really exciting.
Where are you from in the States?
Originally, I'm from a southern state called Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, so like down south, like around Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, tiny little place. All right, shall we mosey on down the river?
Yes. I'm using the same glass. Is that
that's
very bad?
Totally fine.
Okay.
Unless you really love cleaning glasses, I would prefer that method.
No. No, I don't have a dishwasher. It's fine. No, but like for example with wine, I hear that you're not supposed to rinse the glass with water. You're supposed to rinse it with the wine that you're gonna drink. And with beer, it's very important to rinse the glass with water and blah blah blah. There's always
I think spirits are normally pretty forgiving. There's a lot in there that will just kill whatever else is in your glass. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, nice little bourbon for you.
That's been a while since I had bourbon. That's really good. Which one is it?
That's Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill.
Like a super nice, easy pouring bourbon.
Yeah.
Really like.
I need the list after, like,
absolutely.
Of what you tasted. Yes.
I will.
So I can come in and you spend all my money at the shop.
You're welcome anytime. But speaking of traveling around, you've traveled quite a lot though, haven't you? There was the trip to Bornholm, but you did you've been to the States a few times, haven't you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went for 6 months, like on that road trip kind of by myself. don't remember how old I was.
By yourself?
21 or something like that.
Right.
22. Yeah. And just like I knew where I was staying the first night, and then from there on, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't have any plans.
The first night's a pretty important night.
Yeah, the first night was really weird. But yeah, I mean, for traveling, I can tell about the first night maybe after. But yeah, I went for 2 months to Vietnam by myself right after gymnasium.
Yep.
Also, like just traveling around, backpacking, motorcycle trip
Damn.
stuff. But
You
then
like
I went back to
motorcycles?
the States. Like I did 2 semesters at university, and then I quit, and then I went back to the States. And because I wanted to go to Burning Man, and I wanted to see all my California friends again. I missed them, and I had a bit of a crush down in Santa Cruz, and yeah. And then I've been once to the East Coast with Stefano on this beer trip, where we went to a gazillion breweries, and yeah, it was really fun to see New York and Brooklyn and stuff for the first time. And
Absolutely.
there's a whole different, and like Maine and Vermont and stuff that's completely different than the West Coast. I fell in love with the West Coast, and it's like it has a piece of my heart, and I want to go back as soon as I can again. And I have lots of friends over there, and like the music scene and the food scene and everything. But the East Coast is pretty cool too. Yeah.
The East Coast is nice. They like honestly, both coasts, I think, of the States, they really, they have something to offer that the other one doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
So especially if you're down in like Southern California, it's just the best weather ever.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm more of a Northern Cali girl when it comes to like the scene, but Southern California definitely has nice weather.
But you did so
beer.
many of these.
Great beer.
Good beer. That's nice. I mean, hopefully the East Coast has a few good beers as well.
Definitely. Crazy. I mean, the States that's really where like I got so blown away. It's where I had like my first like epiphany about what beer could be.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, sour beers, IPAs, everything. I got so inspired over there. It was crazy. Also because everybody, all the hippies with no money, they would still go to the local breweries and get beer. They would spend their money like on proper beer, and it was just like this community, and you would sit on the patios, and there was bluegrass music, and I was just, yeah, it was amazing.
Just digging it.
Yes.
Absolutely. I have noticed that though. I mean, no matter really what climate someone is in financially, they will still buy like that, maybe a bit of a nicer beer, or something a bit more craft or something like this, just to enjoy
it's a choice. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I don't get a big salary yet from the brewery, but I still, like, I told my salary to my friend the other day that we go out and eat a lot. He's a chef, and we go out and we go to expensive restaurants and stuff like that. And I told him what I'm earning, and he's like, "How can you go out with me?" And I'm like, there's holes in all my clothes. I have a shitty broken phone, and I never buy anything new. I just eat and drink all my money away.
But that's the best thing to do with it, because money comes and goes, but like flavors and like specific like flavors give you such a long lasting memory, I feel. And like they're so deeply connected to a lot of experiences in life.
It's like, just joy. It gives me life quality. If I eat shitty food for 3 days, I'm depressed. And right now, I try to get, all the fun, kind of make your own food at home from the good restaurants, like these takeaway kits. And that's giving like a little bit of that, new flavors and interesting techniques and stuff like that. But I can't wait to go and get like a wine pairing. That's something that I can't do. Like, I'm not a sommelier. And so that's something I'm missing a lot. But I mean, in my travels, of course, it's been a lot about people and experiences. But it's like, even though I wasn't as much a foodie when I started traveling by myself, it's I still ended up like, some of my best memories are from like tasting something incredible, or cooking something with people. Like, also because I stayed at people's houses, by couch surfing, and I very quickly got into this routine where I was really grateful to stay in their home, and they showed me around, and they showed me their city, and we had a great time. And then I felt like the only thing I could give back was to cook, and I always knew how to cook. And so there was this huge, like, great sharing of that. And so, yeah, travels and food has been very intertwined for me. always.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
I mean, I completely agree. Especially traveling alone, I feel like that can really open you up to more possibilities in some ways, because then like you really are, you're so carefree, and you know, you
Yeah.
just kind of go wherever the wind blows at that
Yeah.
point.
And I like, to be able to make everyone happy. If I'm traveling with a partner or a friend, I want to make decisions together. Are you okay
Mhm.
with this? You want to go here, there? Are you tired? Are you hungry? And if I'm by myself, like I make the craziest decisions like in a second, because I know what I want and I don't have to, align uh, my trip with someone else, or like I'm more free in
Exactly.
a way.
Yeah. Or you have no idea what you want and you just want to see whatever this path is going to take you.
Or sit on a bench for 2 hours and think about your old relationship with a blah blah blah, or how you feel about your dad, or
Oh,
whatever it is. Like, I mean, there's so much stuff that came up. I grew so much from traveling by myself, and it's not for
that's
everybody, but it was definitely good for me.
good. That's very nice. I like that.
I'm getting rosy cheeked. That always happens.
Yeah.
Experience. It's embarrassing.
No, no, it's fine. It's all good. But drink some water, and then maybe we press on to, or yeah, drink some beer.
I
That's
also have water. That's a
that's
great idea.
that's brewer's water, right? Beer.
Mhm. It's just a pilsner. It's not an 8% double IPA. I'll be fine.
Oh man, these double IPAs are so tricky.
Triple IPAs, quadruple IPAs. What the hell is
It's
happening?
so nuts. I
I don't
saw
get it.
I saw one time that was 20%, and I just looked at it and I was like, "There's no way."
Det er bare nej. Nej.
Uh, solid night tack.
Yeah. But a lot of people like it. I just don't think it's really for like brewers, or like I know that a lot of people that brew it, they sell out, but they don't drink it
Of course.
themselves, or like it's not their favorite style. So
No, I mean, I can definitely see why they would sell out. Honestly, as soon as I saw it on a menu, part of me was like, I should just try it. Like,
yeah.
like you just want to try it, and you're like, oh, I'll get a small one. It'll be fine. Like a small one's
Yeah.
10%, right? Because a big one's definitely 20. And you
Yeah.
just try to do this math that's not math,
Yeah.
And then even with the small one, you just get rocked.
Completely. And like I think that a lot of Danish people want a lot of high ABV. I think that George also talked about this on one of your
Yeah.
previous episodes. That it's true. I mean, people would come down to Fermentoren where I worked and be like, "What's your strongest beer?" Like, God damn it! Like, what kind of question is that? Yeah. But people just want to get hammered. It's fine.
That's all we really want, right?
Yeah.
Well, then let's continue to drink about it and
Fourth.
support these people.
Yes.
All right. Cheers.
It's good. Whoa.
Was that?
Gin?
Was that number 4? Oh yeah, that was.
It's really sweet, or like, but is it gin?
Yes, it is gin, but
Yeah.
it's Porter's tropical gin.
That's
So
like
it's
candy.
yeah,
Dangerous.
it's super nice.
This is great.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Very much.
But you talked a little bit about food and about how you've always been cooking. That makes a lot of sense since your mom is like a educated chef. But your friends, like out of every single one I messaged, I think I talked to 3 or 4 of them, and they all said that you were Mama Kane, with like anytime they're sick or anytime they're a little hungover or they're a little sad, you come over immediately with lots of food.
Yeah.
But where does like whenever someone's sick or whenever someone's hungover, like what's your go-to, like, okay, I'll definitely make them this, right? Do you have like a few go-to dishes?
I mean, of course, it always depends on the person, because, like, I mean, food is like my love language. So it's very much about, like, I mean, one of my friends, she loves, spaghetti bolognese, but she's a vegetarian, so she doesn't get it a lot, or like it's hard to find. Like, she
Yeah.
used to eat meat when we were like younger, and so like to find like a really good veggie bolognese that I think tastes like the real stuff or whatever. Yeah, so people's favorite food, it can just bring so much joy, and like it's like this childish thing, when you're also like your mom would cook you your favorite thing when you were sick, or
Yeah.
your birthday and stuff like that. So like I always loved that, getting to decide what I wanted my mom to cook me. So I am Mama Knæ, I guess. And like, I mean, for my own comfort food, I guess I really like tortellini and brodo. So tortellini, like the very little filled pastas, like filled with a very savory, like not the ones you buy in the shop.
Right.
That has nothing to do with tortellini from the Italian region, Emilia Romagna. The filling is like the pastas are like tiny.
Oh, okay.
Like you get 4 or 5 in a spoon. So they're like basically folded with like the pinkies.
Oh, wow.
And it's these like grandmas that is just standing all day long folding tortellini. And it's like a very dense filling of like mortadella, dried ham or like cured ham, lots of Parmesan cheese, and then a little bit of meat, but it's just like very salty and meaty and cheesy.
Oh.
And then you put it into clear soup. Like you boil them in clear soup, and you get this ball of bone broth, basically, with these little awesome goodness. Like, I mean, I also guess like filled pasta and dumplings and stuff is so like so many cultures have that, and I think that that's one of my favorite things. And it takes so much time and care to fold all these things and the fillings, and so I think that's one of the things that I would make if I really cared about someone. I would make them dough with stuff inside.
Dough with stuff inside. Yeah. That's a pretty solid way to go. But I mean, I think dumplings or just any dough that has stuff inside, I think it's like such a genius way to.
It's amazing.
To serve
and you can go from Russia, where you get like these boiled dumplings with lamb inside, topped with creme fraiche and dill, and then you go to, I don't know, Poland and have a pierogi, and then you go to Italy and you go to China, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorite like kind of worldly food phenomenons that traveled through like cultures, and everyone has one.
They definitely do. I like because we don't have a lot of Chinese food down in Arkansas, of course. it's middle America. It's a lot of just like cheeseburgers. No, yeah, I guess so. But
Arkansas, no. Yeah.
But whenever I lived in New York, I lived in Chinatown for like the majority of it, and there you get some lovely dumplings, like really some super solid stuff. But there was a place called Golden Kim's, and it had like a dumpling surprise tray, and so you got just like a mix of like 6 or however so dumplings, and so each one was like there's a pork, there's a veggie, and then there's this and there's that, and like it just switched up over and over again. It was really fun to just sort of be like, I wonder what this is like. It's like the dumpling version of like the chocolates you get at Valentine's Day,
Exactly. Yeah. I would love that. I mean, just a surprise upon surprise. Sounds great.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a great thing. Like, so I have 4 freezers, which is
4 freezers.
Yeah, I have a tiny house. It's 50 square meters. I have 4 freezers. And
why do you have 4 freezers?
Because I am a hoarder of like I work a lot, with the brewery, and so like stocking up on. I love home cooked food, and as I said, if I eat crap like for 3 days, I'm depressed. So like to stock up on stuff that's quick to make. So to have like slow cooked stews and ragus, and then I make dumplings, and you just freeze them, and then you have this bag, and you just throw them in a pan, bit of water, and there's like dinner in 10 minutes. So that's one of my favorite things to have in my freezers.
Oh man, that sounds like you're just making me hungry. That sounds super nice. My gosh. All right, definitely coming to yours one time for dinner. That sounds rad. All right. Man. Are we ready to keep moving down the train?
I need some water.
Yes. Take some water. You're fine. Do some jumping jacks. Get it out of your system.
Well, I'm not a spirits, like I'm not a cocktail bartender. Were all the other guests cocktail bartenders that you've had on the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
They seemed pro about like, they would like guess what spirit it was and stuff, and then poor me, your person.
Some of them were pretty solid. I think the last one though with Caston Smiley, I gave him a shot of like 69% rum. And he was like, "Oh, that's so nice. Like, that's so tasty." And I was like, I'm making this face and I'm like, yeah, was it good? And it's like,
Yeah.
so some people just have it. Some people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good.
There's,
It's cool.
oh, a little picaflor for your life.
That's my skin.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
Is
like,
that the colorful? I'm sorry, I don't know anything.
you're fine.
What was it?
It's, do my headphones reach? Oh, they barely reach.
Oh.
It's this guy, picaflor.
Picaflor.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice. Awesome.
Yeah, it's also a really cool art. I like the tattooed Birdman.
Yeah. I mean, artwork on bottles, it's like, I don't know a lot about wine. I get confused, even in a beer store. Like, what is this? Like, do I want to drink this? Do I want to buy this? There's 300 different cans and whatever. And artwork is still like really a way for me to, it's stupid, but I mean, it's so important to me that
it's not stupid at all. Absolutely. Like it's super important, I think. Like everything from like, especially slow burn. Come on. Slow burn
it's
is
about the recognizability, you know. Thank you. Yeah, that's my sister's company.
Is it your sister or your
I mean,
sister's company?
she doesn't do the illustrations. She made the logo and the whole like can setup. So she's a graphic designer with another cooperative that's called Rabotnik, and so she makes.
Sorry, it was called what?
Rabotnik.
Rabotnik.
Rabotnik. And they're in Nørreport Station, kind of thing. And so it's her coworker Rune that does the drawings of the animals and the plants, and then she's the one that sets it up and puts the text in and made the logo and makes the social media like mock-ups and all that stuff.
Well, yeah. Rona, you said Rona was the one who actually does all the drawings?
Rune, yeah. Rune Bilger. Yeah, he's great.
Bilger.
Yeah.
Crushing it. Fully crushing it. Because like they really do look so cool.
We feel so lucky, you know, like it's my sister's company, and I was like, yeah, sure, you know, when we started up, like let's work with you, like that makes sense, you know. They were the inspiration to become a cooperative in the first place, and like the company form that we are, and then we were like, yeah, we should work with you, and then it just turned out to be like the best decision we've ever made, and yeah, they are really rad.
Definitely. And it is kind of funny because like whenever someone comes in, especially I've noticed it more at Shoppen, because Shoppen, it is a lot about like, you know, people come in, they just want a beer or they just want a bottle of something, and they immediately look at the labels. But it's been fun because a lot of, I don't know if all of them, but the majority of craft breweries here in Denmark are doing some sort of, you know, nice label design.
Definitely. Yeah.
Normally pretty graphic. But it's like the first thing that people look at, you know, they come in, they say they see a big whale, you know, going through like this sort of blue spot on a white can. They're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, just try it, mate. You'll love it. Yeah. It makes my job easier for sure.
I guess it's also like, yeah, I mean, your shop is like a good example of why we did this kind of artwork. We basically came with the idea to Rabotnik to do this stuff with, like, you know, I have a trout on my arm and like a fennel.
Oh, right.
A fennel on my calf, and so I was like, I really love nature, and there's so much to work with, you know. There's so much color, there's so many shapes and stuff, and then I wanted to do like something recognizable and easy to approach, because, you know, craft beer is not easy for everyone to understand or to remember a beer that they liked or to relate to something. And I think that there's lots of great artwork out there, but I was, even myself being a craft beer drinker, was confused and couldn't remember, you know, that great pale ale or IPA that I had, right? Because it was all so psychedelic and colorful and like hard to, so I wanted to be like the one with the parrot, like kind of memory style, you know, like that game where you as a kid with
absolutely you had to like pick across.
Yeah. So just like something where I can like, okay, I can relate to that one. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's been really cool, but who does, because your names normally match up, at least correlate a little bit. Like they seem to have, you know, at least inspired by the graphic, or is it the other way around? Do you come up with a name and then? It's
mayhem. Like it's really hard to like come up with this creative process. Like we don't have really like a fixed way. It's so like we wanted to do the West Coast IPA and call it Shoulders of Giants because we love the West Coast and we love West Coast IPAs, and
Absolutely.
there's these giant breweries like Lagunitas and Sierra Nevada and stuff that paved the way for a revolution in beer that we fell in love with when we started out. And so that was a great like kind of sentence that we wanted to name the beer. And then we thought, okay, what's a giant animal? And then the blue whale, okay, we'll pick
Absolutely.
that. For Vox Populi, that was the first beer that we actually named, and that was because I told Stefano that he had to absolutely make a New England IPA because otherwise we would go out of business. And so I forced him, like he loves lagers and West Coast IPAs.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you have to make hazy IPAs. I'm sorry.
Just
and
one.
we
at
were
the very
homebrewing,
least.
on our porch.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I'll try and stuff. But if I make a hazy IPA, I'll call it Vox Populi, which means the voice of the people.
Exactly. Voice of the people.
And so like just because that's what people want. And then we had this joke going that we were both working at Fermentoine, and we had the shift from clear IPAs to hazy IPAs, and then all you could get was New England. And everyone that came down, the customers would be like, hazy, hazy, juicy, juicy. And it was just this repetition. And so I had this image of the parrot, which is also an exotic animal. And, so it's like, it depends. And sometimes I really want to make a beer with something that means something to me.
Right.
And then I'll find a name that fits with that, or the hops that we use. I think that was, Equinut. What? Sorry, that's Stefano. He's making
Hello,
comments
Stefano.
in the background.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
All right. Long day.
Yeah.
Really long day.
I heard you had like a double brew day today.
Yeah. Double brew today.
That's
so that's always a very long day.
Yeah, quite a few hours to log.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's I said Equinox because Libra.
Oh yeah.
Libra was the one.
Oh yeah.
Like playing with the name and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there's a hop called Equinox, and then we were like, oh, so this thing with the what do you call it? Cyan? When you
what are those called?
in English? Like when you're I'm a Taurus or
it's definitely signs something. What is it? Zodiac signs.
Zodiac signs.
Zodiac signs.
And then we thought about like equilibrity and the scale thing, and then I was like, let's have a hummingbird. That's like one of the balancing kind of animals in a way. Like sometimes it's hard to make the link completely like visible or obvious, but sometimes it's just like kind of behind the scenes. I had this blues song that I really loved called High Heel Sneakers.
High Heel Sneakers.
Which is just about like freaking out, going to town, not caring about what anybody tells you to do, or like just punch him in the face if he's making any trouble. Like put your wig hat on, let's show him who you are, kind of thing. And it's very, very old, and I thought it was really badass. And then I was like, okay, this is a random name, and I don't know what animal or plant to put with high heel sneakers, but then I thought about the flamingo just because of the long legs.
Absolutely.
And the elegancy in that. And so I mean it's kind of random, but of course still like we try to make some meaning in it.
Yeah, but it still correlates, especially once you get into that sort of mindset, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you see it through like Amelia and Stefano's eyes, then you're like, oh, okay, this is how the world works. This is how Slow Burn does it. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Stefano's happy he's finding dinner in the oven.
Yes. Is it the load of potatoes?
Oh yes. Yeah, it's the flødekartofler in Danish.
Flødekartofler. Oh yeah.
Very good.
That's good. That's great drinking food.
Yes. I had cream, I had potatoes.
Yes.
That's it.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
But was that the question? What was the question for the fifth? Or did I just keep talking?
No, that was I was actually on there to talk about the graphics from Slow Burn because it's cool. Like so that we've totally covered it actually. Awesome. You directly went into it. It's like you like read the mind or something.
Cool. Great.
But shall we move on to the last one?
Yes.
The last one. You're almost there.
I know, I made it. But there's like 4 more. I don't even know what the game is, and I'm like really worried. But
okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk about the game in a second. But I think you're gonna be fine at it. It's gonna be great. Let's see, what is the last shot?
I think I'm gonna get
the
half.
last shot is it's a little bit of the last shot is Panama rum.
Panama rum.
Panama
All right.
rum. Yeah.
Good.
Cheers.
I'll give a bit to Stefano.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
Sharing is caring,
Yeah.
especially after like a long brew day. You need a little shot of rum.
Yeah. He's savoring it.
Wow, it smells amazing.
I'm glad. It's a really nice rum. It's just it's like a pouring rum. We use it at shopping like to make like little to-go drinks and things like this.
Yeah.
But it's
Great.
super nice.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But yes, congratulations, you have made it through all the like required shots.
Okay.
Super
Great.
nice. Good job.
Yeah.
But for the last question that I really have for you is sort of like an open question, really. If you could collaborate with any person in like the bar industry, whether it be like a bartender or another producer or like an importer or any sort of facet, who would you collaborate with and what would you want to make like in that collaboration? Take your time.
Yes. Oh, that's a big question.
It's a very hard question after 6
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, so like I do a lot of sales for Slow Burn, and one of the things that I love is to work with restaurants and be out and just talking to people at bars and at restaurants and just, be a part of the scene that I was initially thinking that I would, go down the road as a chef and follow like my mom's path and stuff.
Right.
And then I didn't. But this is like a way to stay connected to that world, is to collaborate with like bringing good beer to all these places that I love.
Absolutely.
I think that I've been dreaming for a while to do something, with another small place. So Solfin down at Røddervin.
Yes.
Is a guy that is just inspiring to me, both as like a family guy and a business owner and an enthusiast, and this little Nisse from Faroe Islands that's just like really enthusiastic about wine. And he taught me a lot. I didn't know a lot about wine, but I love to taste natural wines, and he really made it like accessible to me, and with his little bar and shop. And so I think I would. And I miss doing food pop-ups. I used to do like the barbecue at Fermentoren once in a while. Like I would cook burgers or bruschetta. And so to do something with beer and wine and food with him and Røddervin would be really fun. Like that's something I miss, the atmosphere around his corner on Ravnsborggade.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that would be really fun.
Well, you guys had a beer on a tasting menu. Didn't you? Wasn't there? There was. Oh, I forget what restaurant it was named.
Yeah. I mean, it was a restaurant, Substans in Aarhus.
That's what it is. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. That used to be Michelin, but then they moved, and now Michelin is like everything's closed. Like, how are they gonna give them their star back? Like they moved location completely.
Yeah.
But without us even knowing, they loved our beer and they ordered it for just like the lounge or like after hours, and then they ended up pairing a dish on the tasting menu with Vox Populi for like, a couple of months, and it was just like, yeah, really cool. And I went to Aarhus and like did a further tasting like after that, and it was just great to have these chefs and from the house people excited about beer in that way and pairing it with food. So
I think also Tiger Mom does like because they do menus as like their service, but with the drinks menu, I think one, maybe two of the drinks is also a beer as well.
Yeah, and I love this. You can do like a sake, a cider, a beer, whatever.
Cocktail,
like
wine,
I love the idea of the juice menu as well. If you don't want to do alcohol, I mean, there's so many liquids, and that's why I love like Miriam's True Liquid like Liquid Matters.
Yeah. I like that it's just broad. Liquid in general. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's so many flavors to explore, and I think that I find it, for us, it was really great to be on that talk on the 8th with chefs, with distillers,
it
with
was
bartenders,
super cool,
and just feeling like we are a part of the same industry, and that
You
like
absolutely are, of
that
course.
beer is this like kind of like, oh, it's the people's drink, and we feel like that too, but there's no reason that it can't elevate to be a part of a fine dining experience or whatever.
Absolutely not.
There's
Yeah.
a wide range, and so it's just a different way to work with craft beer, because restaurants have a different approach than a pizza shop, you know, and so you just need to know what they need to, you know, as a basis to have a good service and to have a good interaction and a good experience. And Substance was great at that. You know, they were very open-minded and flexible, and yeah.
Which I think is one of the biggest keys, is like being flexible, because just as you're saying, like there's so much liquid out there, and there's so many different flavors. I mean, every flavor that you have with food, there is also the equal amount of flavors with drinks, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different way of consuming different types of flavors.
Yeah.
And so it's been really exciting actually to see it on Tiger Mom's definitely not the only one. But now we're 6 shots deep and I can't think of other restaurants. So, but there's definitely more out there that are doing.
No, but I mean, bar for
menus.
example, that I really hope pull through. I hope everybody pulls through, you know. But they were great at pairing beer and food, and choosing like for their tasting menu and stuff like that. So, and I used to work at the what's it called? God damn it, the Mikkeller. Øllerbrød. Yeah, when it started up with Blaffer, that's now working at bar, or now I think it changed to a spirits company actually. But he was like one of my first bosses when I was trying to be a waitress, and I would drop the cutlery and I would break the glasses. I was terrible. Elephant in a porcelain shop. That's not my job.
Nice.
But he taught me anyways, and we tried to just play around with all these beers and the food, and we I don't know the English name, but Nyretapper.
Nyretapper.
Beef that's very bloody red, like lean, like the filet, but even more flavorful.
Okay.
And not very known, or like an obvious cut, at least, you know, 5 years ago and stuff. And it was like this red berry sauce. I don't remember, it was just cherry or black currant or something like that. And then we had this porter with blackberries, I think. And it was just great, you know, because you had this bloody darkness, like the crust of the fried steak, and like, oh my God, you know.
And then the porter to match.
He wasn't an expert either, but it's about exploring and just getting excited. And yeah, liquids is just not just wine and traditional wine, and the natural wines also have a whole other thing to say.
Yes, absolutely. That's a whole different category. That's a pretty exciting thing as well, though.
Yeah, that was how I got into wine. My mom's very classical. I've taken her to Amalie and some places and introduced her to natural wine, but she's very like critic, and it's hard. It's hard. She's like, it's not proper white Bourgogne, you know. And,
I mean, no, technically, I guess it is not proper.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a new style of wine, right? And it's really exciting because it's
exactly. It got
completely different flavors from what we've all.
It's different. It's alive.
That's one of the coolest things, I think, is like it's actually alive, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
I've definitely had my shit natural wines where it was sour and like just.
But I think there's
oxidized elderflower, mousy juice, you know. But, I mean, I've also had the most incredible experiences, and I was always very bored with wine. Having dinners with my mom, you know, she would make all the classic dishes. There would be perfect wine pairings, and I was just like, whatever. Like, I was never excited until like I started, you know, with Solfin and whoever else to get into that world.
Because you need something like alive and active, and maybe Well, very cool. But yeah, Amelia, that's actually all the questions that we have. And now it's time for a little friends quiz.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. But it's a short quiz, just 4 questions. I would wager to say that most of them, I've heard that you've seen Friends quite a few times.
Okay, so there's a little story to that. That I was like a super nerd in school, didn't have a lot of friends, went home after school every day, watched TV. Like, that's what I did.
Nice.
And I loved Friends, and it's always been on Danish TV. like if you ever take it off Danish TV, there's gonna be a riot. Like it was just on every day, and so I kind of developed this relationship with it. And then for many years I didn't watch it, and then I started dating Stefano, and I would make these references because Friends is just a very standard like thing that everybody watched in Denmark, and he had never watched it. Never in his life a single episode of Friends, and I was like, how can this even, like, what? And
Has
so
he
we
watched it now?
We watched it, yeah. So we watched all of it pretty recently. And
really recently?
Because he got addicted.
Yes. Okay. Super cool. Stefano, are you there actually?
He's
Stefano?
here. He's here.
I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. Please feel free to jump in on this quiz.
But he's terrible at remembering anything.
I'm terrible.
No.
Like if any question is about a name of a character, I'm gonna fail it.
Okay.
So he's gonna sit here and he's gonna. But you can help. You can help.
Yeah. I mean, if you feel like you know the answer, just shout it out.
Help me out. What are the shots for?
So the shots, if you get it wrong, then you have to, of course, continue drinking. But now there's technically 2 of you, so maybe you guys can switch off.
Oh, shit.
Because he also just finished a long day. Who doesn't need a shot, right? But if you
will definitely manage to finish them either way.
There you go. And if you get it right, then of course no shot. So no worries.
Then he'll get it.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So first question. After Ross moves into Ugly Naked Guy's apartment, the building throws a goodbye party for the retiring handyman.
Yeah.
Name the handyman.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, hey.
Why?
You got this.
I totally know the whole scene, and I know
exactly
in the apartment and everything, but like I cannot name the guy.
Because Phoebe comes in.
Give me a second.
We should just shoot a name.
No.
Should
it's not Hank. Is it?
No, it's not Hank. But you're fairly close. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hans. No.
Hans. like Hans Gruber.
Nine.
No.
Nine.
I don't remember.
That's okay. It's Howard.
Howard.
You were so close. You were really, really so close.
Oh well.
Hans. That's funny.
Hans.
These are really hard questions.
Okay.
It's good. It's also because like I am a big fan.
Yeah, but the name of the handyman. Come on.
I'm disappointed in myself.
Oh, but that's a pretty solid episode.
Mm.
What I know is that Ross didn't want to give the money for the present.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
Yeah, and then Phoebe comes in. Yep.
So awkward.
Yeah.
Fucking Phoebe, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So question 2, hopefully a little easier.
Wait. It's chopping up. Say it again.
Are you there?
We're back.
Super cool.
Yes.
So question 2. Yes. Can you name all 7 of Joey's sisters?
Come on.
Nobody can do that.
Yes, they can.
Not in a million years. Like
3 of them rhyme. Come on.
Maria?
Well, you're Italian, so you get to like just name a bunch of Italian names.
I don't know. Maria, Rebecca, and
Rebecca. Is that an Italian name?
Yeah, Rebecca.
Okay.
You kidding?
Rebecca?
Maria, Rebecca, and
some of them have like the 2 name thing. So do you know what I mean? So it's like, 2 first names as 1 first name.
Anna Maria.
We're lost.
Fairly close, actually.
Okay.
Well, something with Maria, like if someone is of Italian or Spanish heritage,
it's Mary something or something Maria,
or something Mary,
yeah.
Okay, but Italian names.
There's no way that I can mention.
But you said how many rhymed?
3 of them rhyme.
I can.
Shut up. What?
That I cannot even remember the name of the one that made out with with Chandler.
Right. We can remember storylines. Like,
Okay.
we're terrible with names.
Okay, that's totally fine.
We will drink though as a
Totally
punishment.
fine. Do you want to know the names?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there is Mary Teresa, Mary Angela, Tina, Gina, and Dina.
Gina. Oh, Tina,
Tina, Gina, and Dina.
Okay.
Yeah. Veronica and Cookie.
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 What the
yeah.
heck is that?
I don't know. Some 90s Italian name. I don't.
What the hell is this? What's G2?
G2 is that's rum agricole. That's the one that I can never pronounce it, but it's this one. Just 1 second.
Okay. Nice.
Smell it.
Mhm.
It's this one here. Sorry.
So what kind of spirit is it?
It's
Gamouillon?
rum agricole. So it's just rum made the French way with sugarcane juice.
Oh,
Super fresh. It's
it just reminds me of something, but I don't know what.
It smells like so fruity, almost like strawberries or something like that.
yeah, actually I could definitely tell the whole berry thing. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Okay, let's have the next impossible question.
This one's not that hard. This one's totally fine. This comes from the quiz. Do you remember like the big quiz in Friends where they bet apartments? So this is kind of one of those. What is Chandler Bing's job?
Again, nobody knows that.
Yes, they do. They say it. They say it. They definitely do.
I know. I want to say Chandler Bing, but that's the question. Like that's the answer to one of the other questions.
Ah, yes.
No.
No. I mean, he
works for he makes
advertisement.
no,
Yes.
not at all. No.
He has to do the sneakers thing.
That's afterwards. That's when he decides that he doesn't like his job and he wants to find another job and find a reason for his life. And then he gets into advertisement and copywriting.
I love how much you know this. This is such a great.
But his actual job is kind of like analyst, statistics and shit like that. Like he's an analyst, right?
Yes. Yes,
He's
I will.
analyst. Okay.
I will accept this answer. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yes.
What's the precise definition?
It's a statistical analysis and data reconfiguration.
Yeah,
Okay.
like something extremely
It's
boring.
Something ridiculous, but analysis that counts.
Okay.
Definitely.
Cool.
Good job.
Thank you. Then you are useful. That's great.
Boom. One for Stefano.
Well, so we save this number 3 for later.
Yes, save number 3 for later. Number 3 just is a Barbados rum from Rum Nation.
Ooh,
Nice.
So super easy, really nice and sweet. But yes, 4th question. And to be honest with you, there is no right or wrong answer for this 4th question. It's more of a personal opinion, and we just want to know where you stand as a Friends fan base community.
All right.
Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Most
Definitely.
definitely on a break.
Were they on a
They
break?
were definitely
Okay.
on a fucking break.
Interesting.
Well, we are not like conformists or like we are not like
Bandwagoners.
no. I mean, like we have a very open view on relationships and stuff, and like they were on a break. Yes.
They were definitely on a break. Like it was like, or at least the situation when that thing happened, it was not like it could not call for that much drama. Let's put it that way. You know, like come on, Rachel.
It's so much drama.
Like come on,
on.
Rachel. You figure out if you want this man all for yourself or not. And if you cannot decide, the man is gonna end up meeting other people at some point. So what's your problem?
He's Italian.
There we go.
Oh, that's very stereotypical. That's like almost racist.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
let's take a break.
Okay, fair enough. They were on a
I
break.
think that there was too much focus on the fact that they want a break. It was used too much as an excuse for other shit.
It was, yeah, absolutely,
Agreed.
absolutely. Whether
Agreed.
It was
whether the
milked,
break was
milked
real or
to
not.
a point, like where
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, too much.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, fantastic. All right, then you guys crushed that. You guys got what? You guys got 2 out of 4.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's pretty solid.
The last wasn't really a question, so.
But it was. It definitely was. There's a huge fan base community. If you go on, because there are like friends forums,
What
right?
did they say?
It's honestly pretty 50-50.
Okay.
Some people are team Rachel, some people are more team Ross, but they're like, yes, he was definitely on a break. They broke up. So.
Well, I
and
definitely hate Ross.
I don't like him as a character. No, his character's
No, I
very
mean,
frustrating.
I don't like his way of acting around being on a break. Like, he's
Yeah.
a total doofus. But
Definitely.
but he's kind of right. But I hate that he's right. That's the answer. Yeah.
All right.
I think that I can agree with it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, there you have it. All right. Amelia, that's actually all we have for tonight.
It's so much fun.
Stefano, thank you so much for helping us with the game.
You're very much welcome.
Great to have you on, both of you, on the show. But before we fully kick it, is there anything that you want to say to the folks at home?
See you around.
See you around, hopefully.
I would say see you around, hopefully.
No, see you around, because it's like, hopefully, yes. I mean, it'll definitely happen.
See you around, hopefully soon.
Yes.
Hopefully soon. Well, there you have it. See you around, hopefully soon. And please tune in next time for the next episode of Let's Drink About It.
Do it.
Thank you, guys.
Cease.
Be
Bye.
safe.